Today, it is officially the fall spooky season, and I'm creating out of my wound today, and decided that this would be a wonderful time to talk about the first chakra. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Because I'm having first chakra issues. Ooh, 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 ooh. The root chakra is our survival chakra. It's the red at the base of our genitals between our anus, our root, where we inhale all of the life force energy from Gia, from Pele, from the earth itself as we sit on it, through the chair, through our legs. That's all the root chakra. So in that root, I'm wearing red. The color of the root chakra is red. Sometimes when we're in survival mode, we vomit because it's messy. You know, like you're trying to fucking survive. Right? So people are getting really mean and judgmental. They feel like they're going to die. But people act like that sometimes every day, like in traffic. They feel like fight or flight needs to kick in, and they have the right to yell at people or be someone else or angrier or more animated for some reason, because they think that like football games or sports, for example, are a socially acceptable outlet for aggression, as well as road rage, and traffic seems to be like, it's okay, that's not weird, it's not okay, but it's not crazy, it's not considered insane. Where if someone just started shouting cuss words into the air, then that, with no traffic and not in a car, then that would be insane. For most people, that's considered insane. So I decided to do this video on the root chakra because housing is always a first chakra issue. And for women, the nest, the home. I'm a nester. I love to build a nest. Even when I'm like backpacking through on the countryside of Japan, I like to stay in the same place for 7 days. Just because, like, that's part of my energy replenishment stage. I need to, like, recharge. So a nest is really nice. So I love Eva Beach, where I live now. I live 5 minutes from the ocean, and I try to go as much as possible. Sometimes, 4 times, 5 times a week. Once or twice a week, I make sure I go in the water and I swim in the ocean, whereas when I was living in Honolulu, which is like 15, 20 minutes from a parking lot in the ocean, I hardly ever went. It's really just about, like, how easy and free is it. And, like, when I lived in town, they call that town, I didn't really go to the ocean. It was a pain in the ass. It has to be so super easy. And even now, I work in front of a computer all day, and my recess is at like 5 or 6 o'clock. I make sure that I go watch the sunset over the hills, and I cleanse the bullshit away. But even lately, I haven't been doing that because I've been in survival mode. So my car, my Black Friday Fiesta, had a safety recall notice from Ford, and they had sent a letter that said the back rear door is subject to not latching correctly, so the door can open on you at any point. And then I didn't register that would be dangerous for some reason, and that because if they didn't say you need to make an appointment right away, they just sent a letter that was happening. And then lo and behold, I'm having the shittiest day yesterday anyways. My fucking door latch also decides to open on that day. Well, I picked up a nice carpet for the dog, the future dog that I'm going to get. I'm going to go into that later. But I've decided to have a baby, basically, like bring, like raise a fur baby. I'm having a fur baby. I decided to expand my family of one into like 2 living things. And then my property manager felt like it was his right to tell me that I shouldn't get a dog because I can't afford it. Because I was 8 days late paying my rent. Because my income really depends on the flow of clients. And I am slowly working on saving money so that I have, I don't have to live from client to client. And I don't have to do the feast or famine thing anymore. I'm steadily changing my habits. I'm accumulating points and getting points so that I'm managing my money a lot better. My credit score is 685. Things are looking up. So I think that things are looking up. But it turns out the property managers that I attract are, I try to give them the benefit of the doubt, but there's always some sexual tension in there that is also a control issue. And my other ones come into play. But then with this one, he just started to text me and tried to give me his opinions about about my life. He was like, oh, I don't think, and he calls me Mari, and nobody calls me Mari. I just hate the way Japanese people say my name. My ex-boyfriend used to say Mariko. He calls me Mari. And then yesterday, this vulture was calling my work phone, talking about, I read about your struggles online. And first off, when people talk about it like that, then they're not gonna, then I don't really, then the way that they are actually approaching my struggles is probably out of pity, and then that's not exactly why I'm writing or speaking about my story. I'm usually speaking publicly about it because I'm not seeking pity. Survivors don't want pity. They want empathy. They want justice, empathy, not pity. Pity is separation. So then I just start tracking back in my mind, and I realized this guy has always liked me, and I was naive to not see this. But I needed to get out of my other place before, and I went surfing with him twice, and his son acts weird around me, and he said, I don't think you should get a dog if you can't pay your rent. And I'm just so livid, so irritated. And he will make comments about, can you turn down your music, or maybe take something with a different beat, and it's trying to get too much opinion into my lifestyle, and calling, texting every day. It was really becoming very relationship violent feeling. And I just went downstairs and I knocked on his door, and I can't be in the hallway because there's no oxygen in the hallway, so I had to open the door and start shouting like that this was inappropriate. So for me to stick up for myself, and to stick up for myself in a way that doesn't use any curse words, like to be able to do that in a professional manner, to stand your ground, to assert compassionate boundaries means using compassionate communication, but still asserting your boundaries, professional and staying professional. That is something that is a new acquisition. And it's hard, but I did it. And we'll see, because in my experience, men are fucking hard-headed and they don't get it. And even women, like I said, my one friend Laura, she would keep popping up. She bursted through every boundary I put up and just would not stop communicating with me. And there are people like that. They just don't get it. And you have to be mean to them in order to get them to finally fucking give up. But some people you can't be too nice with. But so we'll see. I really don't want to talk to them for as long as possible. Honestly, it's going away in the latter part of the month. I'm so glad. Or at least hopefully I scared away the contact for a few days. Because he was literally calling, texting every day, little emojis and shit, and trying to get into my head and be close to me. And I'm just like, no. That's a no. No. So all of this has to do with first chakra, because now I feel like I need to move. This is an unpleasant environment. It's basically a form of sexual harassment, like you feel like you can't be yourself, because this person can't handle who your real self is. Like, I can't be your friend and your tenant, because I don't want you to abuse the communication lines that we have between us. You have my phone number. I don't want you to be fucking texting me every day, or he's finding some reason to text me. Oh, he's borrowing stuff from my house. Oh my God. And it's been just continuously happening slowly over like the course of 6 months. And I just don't want it anymore. After the dog comment, I was like, that was the last straw. And I'm like, no, do not get to come with my dog, period. And I looked into myself and I was like, oh, am I just being a bratty teenager who does, I want to get my dog and I won't let anybody tell me what to do? Is that who's reacting? So I went in deep and I meditated because I was really depressed yesterday. Because having to move, again, from a place that I like, because of the same issue this is not the first time that I've had to pack up my stuff and leave a place because I felt like the male owner, was going to make it uncomfortable for me to continue to stay in a place under sexual tension, because they weren't going to just let me live there without fawning or flirting or fucking them. And I don't want to play that game anymore. I'm done. I was really just trying to be normal, But no, he abused it. In many ways. Abused it with the communication, too much texting, and then the comments about my dog. He even tried to say, like, how I should potty train and stuff. And I just, too much. I don't know who he was thinking he was becoming. That's crazy. And then just, how naive of me that I just track back and I'm like, oh, duh. He's liked you since you first came over to the place. This happened twice when I was in Japan. It happened when I was in Australia and I got dumped on the street. Like, once the guy found out that I wasn't going to fuck him, basically, I had this big old backpack, and he was totally love-bombing me. He picked me up on his moped, and they all expect me to be naive and Japanese, because I came from Japan. And I love putting that trick on them, If they don't go, then I'm actually okay. I'm not as Japanese fresh off the boat as you think I am. Yacht. So anyways, I meditated on a card, and I said, what's the meaning of all this chaos, cards? Should I get a dog? Boom. One card, one truth. Creation. I am creating everything that happens to me, including my reaction, but I'm creating a family. You know, I can't control the biological seed. You know, I can't control my beloved coming to me. I cannot control getting pregnant with a human baby. But I can control going to the pound tomorrow and picking up a fur baby and creating a household. So creation, that was the card that I got. Like, no one can tell you what to do with your animals or your family. And this decision that I've made to love something is huge, you guys, huge. Like, huge. I've been told my whole life that I am unfit and incompetent. That is the internal core wound that I have. That's childhood PTSD. That's what it is, being ignored and being neglected and being adultified as a child. And also just constant criticism. Like, you know, my mom's not full-on narcissist, terrible like Mommy Dearest, but nagging criticism is part of her way of loving. And I realized that my property manager, he does the same thing. It's like this nagging criticism, like, Mari, if you can't pay your rent, you shouldn't get a dog. Mari, you need to potty train your dog and make sure that he potty trains like this, and like nagging. My mom just nags, and half of the time her nagging is not even based on facts. They're just like nonsensical nagging, and it's in my ear constantly. She's just never happy with anything. And that's been the last 10, 15 years with my mother, you know? And so I just replicated that, my mother and my father wound, in my last two fucking property managers. And property management, housing, all of this stuff. It's like so painful to have to be uprooted, you know? Have to think about, where am I going to lay my nest down, you know? Where is safe for me to start to build another nest, and how, like, where I just decide, no, I would rather be at peace than have to, like, the issue for me is about when certain people trigger me to the point where I feel very rageful just by interacting with them, and they are not in a position to go to therapy with me or to work off that wound with me, for example, and it's easier to just separate ways, like with a property manager. You just move. I'm not trying to have a relationship with this person. In fact, I want to dissolve all personal relationships because the only time we ever talk is business. He basically quarantined his son downstairs and didn't tell me. I was interacting air with him, crossing paths with him. Like, there was no consent. They basically think that, like, you know, they're like of the no mask brigade. And I'm not. I'm not 1,000% all the time, but I definitely try to keep precautions. So having someone like that, you know, just evaluating who are you working for? Who is in your ecosystem? And I just have to keep it moving, you know? I don't want to beat myself up because I keep attracting patterns. I want to keep evolving. I want to get better. I want to create better. And when I went deep inside, I was like, nope. More than ever, I've decided that I'm ready to love another being, another spirit, another animal, another living, breathing thing. I can love and they can love me back. I can create that. That is important to me at this time. And there is no one, especially not some fucking property manager that has known me for 6 months, can tell me different. I'm pregnant. Imagine I'm pregnant. It's the same thing. They can't tell you how to live your life, how to raise your kids, whether you can afford to have a dog or not. That is way overstepping, you know. So I just feel like enraged. I feel enraged too much, and it requires too much. You know, why put yourself through that? It's not necessary. I want to be at peace. I can't change people. I can't control people. But I can control me. So, red, first chakra, I want to, you know, even though I'm in survival, I'm not doing survival sex work. I'm saying I'm still in a position to say no to money that I feel like pulls me out of my integrity. There was someone on Sunday. There's just been a whole bunch of people. I feel like vultures. Like fucking dark crystal out here. Dark. Very dark. I want to be the light. I want to be the love. I want to be the light. All the people calling on my phone are just dark. But yet I'm chanting. I want all potential clients to see the value of what I have, what I bring, and be in full alignment with my offer. I want all potential clients to see the value in what I bring and be in full alignment with my offer. This guy on my phone, he's like, how much you want to make today? And like, just that kind of conversation. I don't want to have that kind of hustle flow, sex worky kind of conversation. Because that's not the work that I'm doing anymore. If sex work is, I very well know sex work is not just about having a support. It's about enabling people. I've turned down so much money that enables people to stay in their comfort zone. That's not fulfilling work for me. That's not light work. That's sex work, where you just take people's money because it's a job, you know. And you're like, well, someone has to do it, and you're right. Someone has to do it. Let them do it, though. I'm in a position just for my mental health, which is sacred. My mental health is sacred. My sanity is sacred. And breathe that in. What am I creating? So I cried yesterday, and I was like, no, more than anything, that dog is here. It's coming to save me. You know? It's like so hard to get to the point for me to be like, no, you know, because I love myself so much, you know, like I do have great self-love for myself. And I turn down also people who want to have sex with me because I don't want toxic anything inside me. People with the wrong intentions, people with darkness, dark seeds, 6 kids, 2 baby mamas, liars, toxic people. I don't want any of that inside of me. I would rather wait. I'm consciously celibate. My yoni is sacred. I need to be in perfect alignment. Otherwise, it will do great damage. And no one is responsible for that great damage but me. And because I took a freaking toll of how many car accidents, 5 car accidents, 2 at 75 miles per hour on the highway. 1, I swear I got roofied because I didn't even remember where the fuck I got into the accident. It was so scary. I just got off the freeway as soon as possible. So my earth angel, Andre, he somehow appeared on the freeway and got me off there, and my breath was stinking like alcohol. I could have went to jail a second time, but they didn't breathalyze me. I was safe. Crazy. So, like, I went back to the scene of the crime. I didn't get arrested or anything. It was a miracle. I didn't get hurt. No one got hurt. But I swear I was rude. They don't even remember. So yesterday, my door almost flies open. My rear door, the latch is broken. The Ford knew they recalled that. And I have to make a decision. Can I keep driving, or should I pull over and get towed? And then because I've kept driving, I made the wrong decision once. I drove with a flat tire. The flat tire busted on the freeway, and I spun around at 75 miles per hour and hit the center divide. The airbag popped out. I hit the center divide, and I was so scared that another car was going to hit me because I was in the lane that I crawled out of the car, and I just started screaming because, your reaction to the accident is sometimes delayed. So when the door started opening in the rear, I'm like, oh, fuck, I get, like, PTSD from my car accident, and that's also chakra too. So I just think about death, and I just got very depressed today. And that's why I would like to have a dog, because that's something that you can change, right away. Like, there's no need for you to be so alone, Marisol. There isn't. I just have internalized the message that I am unable, unfit, not capable of being able to bring life into the world. My family has brainwashed me into thinking that was true. And I'm trying to unpack that, and I think it's very necessary to heal this wound by getting a dog, So I thank my fucking neighbor-ass property manager for saying that shit to me. It was like, oh yeah, it's really like testing me, Are you sure you're ready? You could pull out now. You really want a dog? Can you afford it? No, the truth is no, I can't afford it. But you wouldn't say that if I was pregnant. Oh, I'm 6 months pregnant. I should get an abortion because actually, things are pretty hard. Let me just change my mind, Like, no, I thought about it for a very long time, and things are not changing for me, and I think I can handle it, regardless. I can buy weed, I can pay a car payment, I can do shit, Like, what is this notion that I can't feed a canine? Where did I get that from? It's the same notion that told me for 40 years that I couldn't handle going to Japan, that Japan was too expensive, that I could never get to Japan, that I shouldn't live in Japan, that Japan is not a place for me to live in. My mom brainwashed me with that shit. And I took 40 years before I was able to be strong enough to overcome that to the point where I could take my ass to Japan despite those voices. So the guy downstairs, he's doing me a favor. I've attracted my mother and father wounds in this relationship. But I was able to stand my boundaries yesterday, and I hope fucking God that it works, Because lately, like this friend that I broke up with, Laura, I gave her a formal letter. I'm like, I no longer want to be your friend, but she kept fucking popping up. Like, in my history, people don't stay away unless I hard block them or I, be a little bit mean to them. So this fool has like texted me so much lately, and I just do not want to hear from him. And he has to corner me in small talk with me. How's the beach? How's this? And I don't want to talk to him every day. And it's finally gotten to the point where I'm so frustrated. I'm so frustrated because I realize that this keeps happening to me. And I just wish that I had my own house, And things are better when I have my own house. And when I ran an Airbnb, I would have the problem from the bottom up. Like my male guests would try and fucking hit on me and try and sleep with me. And it would stay in the Airbnb. I'm like, look, I'm not having sex with people that I rent from, period. Don't ask me. Housing is sacred. That's all first chakra stuff. Housing is sacred. Health is sacred. Creation is sacred. Your family, feeding your family, health. Then if you have a baby or a fur baby or an animal, that's your extension of your family. That's you. People don't have a right to give you advice, unwarranted advice about how you raise your kids or if you can afford to feed your family. What are these people thinking? So emotional mastery is about responding, not reacting. So I had thought about it for a very long time before he got me really upset. But I guess I was just waiting for the last straw, and the last straw was when he blamed some banging on the wall on me. He was like, what are you doing with my condo? But he had already been texting me like every day, yesterday, 3 times a day, and he's like trying to be cute and flirtatious and shit, and like questions that I need to respond to, like, oh, did you, because the electrical, it goes out, and I have to text him in order to turn it back on so I can have electricity in my apartment. It's frustrating. It's not the first time that I've had to get on my horse and ride my first chakra away. So the creation card was like, yes. Yes, mama. You are going to be a great dog mama. And you being a dog mama is you overcoming your childhood wounds. My sister basically called me lame and retarded most of my life. I'm so lame. I'm so retarded. And then when I was in my 20s, they shamed me for, being low income, or like it just was a self-manifesting, a self-fulfilling prophecy where I was like the broken one all the time. And it really is like part of why I can't get out of this feast or famine cycle. It's all this, I'm just trying to really focus on this first chakra wounding. And my financial imprinting and my financial management, and really be truthful and look at that. And if I don't have the skills, try and learn the skills and not freak out and not like try to pull the covers over my eyes, like really look at my patterns and see where I'm responsible and what my blind spots are. I'm willing to do that so that I can be free, so I can live my rich life. So I want to be wealthy. I am the landlord. I'm the owner. I'm not a sex worker. I don't work for anyone. I work for myself. I'm an erotic enterprise. I choose my reality. I choose my clients. This fool yesterday, he's like, I saw you write about your struggle online. How much money do you need to make today? And I was like, he kept calling back, and I'm like, yeah, just that conversation, the way you're talking, I don't want to do that. I think sex work is like, makes you compromise your integrity, and that's what you get paid for. And I'm not, that's why I'm not sex work. I don't get paid to listen to drug addicts go on and on and on about their nonsense. I'm not interested in doing that anymore. That in the long term causes cancer, and I don't want the cancer. Clearing the first chakra. Clearing the first chakra for light manifestation. This is my first chakra affirmation. I want all potential clients to see the value I bring them and be in direct alignment with what I offer. I want all potential clients to see the value I bring them and be in direct alignment with what I offer. I mean, it's funny, I've been reciting this, but the opposite has been coming on my phone. Nothing but the opposite has been coming in my path, on my door, and my phone. Praying for change. I'm a deliberate creator of the change I seek.